The footage that shouldn't exist. Part 1. The file that didn't exist this morning. My name is Andrew Miles, and for the last 4 years, I've been just another IT analyst at Halverton Dynamics. Nothing special. A quiet job, a quiet office, a quiet life. I always come in early, earlier than anyone else. There's something comforting about an empty building at dawn. Just servers humming, and no one needing anything from you. April 12th started the same way. Coffee, log in, check the overnight updates. Routine, until I saw something in the archive. Something that should not have been there. A video file, one single file, with a timestamp from the future. The name was Cam7, Hall, 4/12/2025/07/3154 is a future. MP4. I frowned at the screen. Our system never labels anything future. There's no script, no process, no update that does that. And the timestamp, the file was created at 8:15 a.m. But when I found it, it was 7:32, 43 minutes before it was supposed to exist. I opened it. No buffer, no load time. It just started. A hallway. Right outside conference room 7A. Empty. Normal. Nothing strange. Then, after a few seconds, I saw myself walking down that hallway. Same clothes, same posture, same everything. He, or I, stopped directly in front of the camera. And then he slowly lifted his face. He looked into the lens. And he smiled. It wasn't my smile. It wasn't even human. It looked like someone trying to copy a smile, without ever having seen one before. Then, I lifted my hand and pointed at something behind me. I turned around so fast my chair nearly tipped. Nobody was there. When I looked back at the screen, the video cut out. The file vanished. Gone from the directory, gone from the logs, gone from the shadow copies. No metadata, no record, no trace. Like it never existed. My heart was pounding. And for the first time since I started working there, the server room felt too quiet. Because according to that video, in 43 minutes, I would be walking down that hallway. Part 2, 8:15 a.m. I spent the next 10 minutes just staring at the clock on my monitor. 7:45. 7:52, 7:99. My stomach tightened more with every passing minute, because in that video, my future self didn't look shocked, or scared, or confused. He looked like someone who already knew what was going to happen. And he smiled at the camera. At me. I kept telling myself it was a glitch, maybe old footage, maybe a corrupted timestamp. But deep down, I knew what I saw. By 8:10, I couldn't sit still, so I left the server room just to walk, just to breathe. The office was waking up, lights turning on, voices echoing softly, the usual Monday drift. Everything looked normal. Too normal. But when I walked past the break room, I saw something that made my skin crawl. One of the monitors, the digital signage screen, flashed for a split second. A frame. A single frozen frame of the hallway from the video, and on it, me. The same shot, the same angle, the same moment. Just for a blink. Then the screen went back to company announcements. No one else seemed to notice. My hands felt cold, like I dipped them in ice water. I checked my watch. 8:13. 2 minutes. I didn't want to go to that hallway. Every instinct screamed at me not to. So I did the only thing that made sense in the moment. I took the long way around. A different path, different turn, different floor. I walked fast, almost running. I'd go to the help desk, maybe sit with other people. Anywhere but that hallway. But when the elevator doors opened on the next floor, I stepped out and froze. It was the same hallway. Conference room 7A, right in front of me. The sign, the carpet, the overhead lights. Exactly the same angle as the video. I hadn't walked here. I hadn't turned here. I hadn't chosen this floor. But somehow, I ended up exactly where the footage said I would be. My watch buzzed softly. 8:15 a.m. I looked up, and from the far end of the hallway, someone started walking toward me. Slow, steady, matching my pace from the video, matching my posture, and matching me. Part 3. The me that isn't me. At first, I thought it was just somebody else, a coworker, someone heading to a meeting, someone who just happened to walk the same way. But the closer he got, the more wrong it felt. His walk matched mine. Same rhythm, same little tilt of the right shoulder, same slight limp I'd had since I twisted my ankle last winter. Step for step, like I was watching a recording of myself, but playing out in real time. I whispered, "No. No, no, no." He didn't blink, didn't look confused, didn't act surprised to see me. He just walked. Closer and closer, until I could finally see his face. It was mine. Every detail, every freckle, every flaw. But there was something deeply, horribly wrong. His eyes weren't looking at me. They were looking through me, like I was the footage, and he was the one watching. My throat went dry. I tried to speak, to say anything, but my voice wouldn't come out. He stopped 5 feet away, close enough that I could hear him breathe. And then, he tilted his head, just slightly, just enough for it to look unnatural, like a puppet whose strings were pulled a little too hard. Then he smiled, the same smile from the video. Slow, crooked, like a human face trying to imitate a human emotion. My vision started to blur around the edges. My brain couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. I stepped back. He stepped forward, perfectly synced, like he was mirroring me. I don't know why. I don't know what I expected, but I whispered, "What are you?" He blinked for the first time, just once, and in my exact voice, my exact tone, he said, "You were supposed to come alone." My knees nearly gave out. Before I could react, a door behind me slammed open. Someone shouted my name. I jerked around, a reflex, and when I turned back, my double was gone, disappeared. No footsteps, no doors opening, no trace. Just the empty hallway and the buzzing lights overhead. Part 4. The Audit Logs. The person who shouted my name was Jacob, our network engineer. He was holding a stack of access reports, looking annoyed. "Dude, I've been calling you. Are you okay?" I tried to answer, tried to explain, but the words just wouldn't form. All I managed was, I need to check something." He frowned but didn't push it. That's the thing about IT people. We all assume everyone else is dealing with some bug we don't have time for. I went straight back to the server room, straight to my desk, straight to the logs. If that version of me, had walked the hallway, there had to be a record. There had to be something. I opened the access logs for the entire floor. Nothing. No badge swipe, no motion sensor, no triggered camera. According to the system, no one had entered that hallway in the last hour. Not me. Not anyone. But then I noticed something. A tiny red icon. An admin-level alert I'd never seen before. I clicked it. A hidden folder opened. One that shouldn't exist. Not in the UI, not anywhere. Inside were 9 files, all with similar names, all with timestamps. From the future. Minutes from now. Hours from now. Some from dates that hadn't happened yet. And then I saw the most disturbing part. Every file name included my ID tag, my badge number, my workstation ID, my user token. It was like the system was tracking future versions of me. I clicked the earliest one. The UI froze. The screen flickered. For a second, everything went black. Then, without warning, the camera feed from the hallway appeared. Live. Real time. But something was off. The angle was the same. The lighting was the same. The view was the same. Except, I was standing in the frame. Me. Right there. But I wasn't in the hallway. I was in the server room. I was staring at the screen, watching myself stand somewhere I wasn't. I lifted my hand in front of my face, slowly, and in the feed. The other me lifted his hand too, only a second earlier, like he was predicting my movements. My heart slammed against my ribs. This wasn't mirroring. This wasn't copying. This was anticipation, prediction, timing beyond human reaction. Then the feed glitched, just once, but long enough to show something else. A shape, standing behind the other me, tall, out of focus, barely human. I gasped, but the feed snapped back to normal before I could see more. My hands shook on the keyboard. I whispered to myself, "What is happening?" The system chimed. A new file appeared in the hidden folder. Timestamp, 3 minutes from now. And its label was different from the others. It wasn't a hallway camera. It wasn't any camera at all. The file was named Server Room Live, 08/28, 2025, 10/24/39, Future, MP4. And below the name, a preview thumbnail, a single frozen frame, a shot of the server room, of my workstation, of my chair. And sitting in that chair, staring directly into the camera, was me, smiling. That same wrong smile. Part 5. The timestamps begin to change. I didn't want to open that file. Every instinct in my body screamed at me not to click it. But fear does something strange to you. It makes you curious. It makes you reckless. It makes you think that maybe, just maybe, the answer is inside the very thing you're terrified of. So I clicked. The video opened, but it didn't play. Instead, the screen froze completely, like the system had locked up, like something was loading that shouldn't exist. Then I noticed something horrifying. The timestamp on the file name began to change. Not jump, not update, change. Digit by digit. Like someone was editing the time manually, in real time, while I watched. 10/24/39 became 10/24/38, then 10/24/37. The timestamp was counting backwards. The future was reversing itself, coming closer, closing the gap. I shoved my chair back, heart pounding so hard it hurt. "Stop," I whispered. "I don't want this. Stop." But the timer kept ticking backward. 10/24/20, 10/24/19, 10/24/18. Then it stopped. The video finally played. It was the server room, exactly where I was standing. Same angle, same lighting, same workstation. And the me in the video sat in my chair, hands folded neatly on the desk, staring at the camera like he'd been waiting. He leaned forward, too smoothly, too deliberate, like a puppet moved by invisible strings. His eyes didn't blink, not once. Then he spoke, in my voice, my exact voice, but off, flat, like someone had copied the sound but not the soul behind it. He said, "You can't run from the version of you that's already seen what happens." I stumbled back, nearly hitting a rack of equipment. No, this isn't real. This isn't." The video glitched, frame by frame. The figure in the chair began to distort, not transform, not mutate, distort. Like the file was losing integrity, like reality itself was buffering. His head twitched, then his neck, then his shoulders. Movements that were too fast, too sharp, too mechanical. He leaned even closer to the camera, his face stretched into that wrong smile. And then, the most horrifying part. He lifted his hand and traced a shape in the air. A pattern, a sequence, a gesture. At first I didn't understand. Then it hit me. He was drawing numbers. A countdown. 3, 2, 1. The video cut out. All the lights in the server room flickered. For 2 seconds, the entire building went dark. And in that moment, in that pitch-black silence, I felt someone standing right behind me, breathing softly, almost patiently. The lights snapped back on, but there was no one there. No footsteps, no shadow, just the hum of machines and the echo of my own pulse. Then the server chimed. A new file appeared in the hidden folder. Its name made the blood drain from my face. Entry log Andrew Miles, final done P4. Timestamp 10:31 a.m. Exactly 12 minutes from now. Part 6. 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That's how long I had before the system recorded something called entry log final. Final. Not future. Not predicted. Final. My stomach turned cold. I didn't want to know what final meant. I didn't want to wait around to find out. I rushed out of the server room, almost tripping over the threshold. I don't even know where I thought I was going. Away. Just away. Every hallway felt too narrow. Every fluorescent light buzzed too loud. Every shadow looked like it was standing still, just a second. Too long. I reached the help desk. 3 analysts sitting around, bored, scrolling through their screens. "Guys," I said, breathless, is something wrong with the cameras? Or the logs? Anything strange?" They all looked at me like I'd asked if the ceiling was on fire. "No. Everything's green." "Why? What happened?" I didn't know how to answer. If I told them the truth, I'd sound insane. Before I could come up with a lie, one of their monitors flashed. Just once. A glitch, a flicker, a split-second frame of me standing behind them. But I wasn't. I was right there in front of them. I backed up, hard. "What was that?" I asked. They shrugged. "You're jumpy today, dude." My throat felt tight. I checked the time. 10:21 a.m., 10 minutes left. I needed to see the file. Whatever was going to happen, I needed to know. So I went to the only other person who had full access. Eva. Lead systems architect. Smart. Calm. Logical. I practically ran into her office. She looked up from her laptop, startled. "Andrew? I need your help," I said. "I need you to look at something. Right now. Please." She hesitated, but something in my voice must have convinced her. We went back to the server controls, together this time. I opened the hidden folder hoping the files would be gone, or corrupted, or anything but what they were. But no, there they were. All 9. And the last one, the one labeled final, was still waiting. Ava stared at the names. "Andrew, where did you get this folder?" I didn't. It appeared on its own. "That's not possible." I didn't answer. She clicked the final file. I almost yelled, "Wait!" But it was too late. The video opened. It was the server room, just like before. But this time, the camera was angled differently. Higher. Looking down, like something had moved the mount. Ava whispered, "What is this?" The video slowly tilted, rotating, focusing on a single point in the room. The doorway. Empty. For a moment. Then, I walked in. The version of me in the video looked not scared, not confused, not lost. He looked calm, prepared, like he'd rehearsed this moment. He stepped into the room, stopped exactly where I was standing now, and stared directly at the camera. Ava whispered, "Andrew, that's you." I shook my head. "No, that's not me. That's not..." Then he moved. Slow, steady steps toward the workstation. He leaned close to the lens. So close his face filled the screen. His eyes were wrong, empty, like they weren't meant to be there. Then he whispered something. Quiet. Too quiet to hear. Eva turned the volume up. Nothing. We replayed it. Still nothing. I put my ear closer. And then, the speakers crackled. Just once. A sharp burst of static. Then the whisper finally came through. Clear. Cold. "He's behind you." Eva and I both spun around. The doorway was empty. But I swear, the air felt warm, like someone had just been there. We turned back to the screen. The video had changed. The final frame wasn't the server room anymore. It was me, dead still, standing in the middle of a dark hallway, back turned to the camera, facing something just out of frame, and beneath the image, a line of text appeared, even though video files shouldn't be able to generate text. It said, 10:31 a.m. Event confirmed. I checked the time. 10:30 a.m., 1 minute. Then the lights went out. Part 7. When the lights came back on. The second the lights cut out, the entire building went silent. Not quiet. Silent. Like someone had pressed mute on reality. The servers weren't humming. The vents weren't blowing. Not even the emergency lights kicked in. Just dark. Eva grabbed my arm. "Andrew, what's happening?" I didn't know. But I knew one thing. We were out of time. The system predicted 10:31 a.m., and the darkness felt like a countdown. I fumbled for my phone, but the screen wouldn't turn on. Not even a flicker. Eva tried hers. Dead. The hallway outside was just a black void, like light couldn't exist there anymore. "Stay close," I whispered. We moved slowly, hands brushing the wall to stay oriented. My heart was beating so loud it felt like it echoed. Then, from somewhere behind us, I heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, measured, not stumbling in the dark, not confused. Someone was walking with purpose, like they knew exactly where to go. Eva whispered, "Is someone else here?" I didn't answer. We kept moving, but the footsteps moved too, matching our pace, staying just far enough back that we couldn't see who it was. Every instinct I had screamed, "Do not turn around." We reached the end of the hall and felt the metal frame of a door. I pushed it open, or tried to. It didn't budge. Locked. The footsteps behind us stopped. Eva gripped my arm. "Andrew, someone's in here with us." My voice shook. "No, someone's following us." We tried another door. Locked. Another. Locked. Every exit felt sealed. Then, through the dark, a tiny LED flicker caught my eye. A single green light from a badge reader, the only thing still powered. Eva leaned in. "Try your badge." I swiped. Red. Denied. She swiped hers. Red. Denied. Behind us, the footsteps started again. Closer this time. Slow. Deliberate. Eva whispered, "Andrew, please open it." I swiped again. Red. Again. Red. The footsteps were so close I could feel the vibration in the floor. I took a deep breath and swiped one more time. This time, the reader flashed white. Not green, not red. White. The door clicked. Eva yanked it open and we stumbled inside. The door slammed shut behind us, hard enough to shake the frame. The lights in the new hallway were dim, but at least they were on. We backed away from the door, trying to catch our breath. Eva was shaking. What the hell was that? I didn't know. But when I looked back at the door, my stomach flipped. The badge reader, the one that flashed white, was completely dead now. No lights, no power. Like it had only turned on for that one moment. Eva asked, "Where are we now?" I looked around. The hallway was unfamiliar, colder. Walls painted a different color. No signage, no room numbers. Then I saw the security camera mounted in the corner. Its red recording light was blinking, and it was aimed directly at us. Eva whispered, "Andrew, is that the camera from the videos?" I stepped under it. I didn't want to look. but I had to. There was a small display beneath it. One newer models used for system status. A single line of text was glowing on the screen. Lev feed synced. Event recording. Then the timestamp updated. 10:31 a.m., the exact moment the system predicted. And behind us, from the other side of the door, something knocked. Once, slow, heavy, not asking to come in, just letting us know that it was there. Part 8. The room we shouldn't have entered. The door behind us stayed still, but the knock echoed in my skull long after the sound had died. Eva stepped closer to me. "Andrew, please tell me we're safe now." I didn't answer, because I didn't know. We moved slowly down the unfamiliar hallway. Every step felt wrong. Too soft. Like the carpet wasn't real carpet, just something made to look like it. Every fluorescent light flickered with a different rhythm. Not broken. Intentional. Like the building itself was breathing. At the end of the hallway was a door. Steel. No window, no handle. Just a badge reader with a tiny screen showing static. Eva whispered, "Andrew, this doesn't look like any part of our building." I knew she was right. The whole layout was wrong. Too narrow, too cold, too quiet. And then I noticed something else. The ceiling cameras. All of them were pointed downward, at the floor. Not monitoring the hallway. Monitoring us. Eva tugged my sleeve. "We should go back. We should find security. We should..." The static on the badge reader shifted, cleared, and displayed a message. A message that froze both of us. "Access granted. Andrew Miles event. Status in progress." Eva whispered, "What event?" I didn't answer. I didn't want to know. The steel door hissed and slid open by itself. Cold air rushed out, so cold it burned my throat. Inside was a room, bright, white, sterile, like a medical lab with no equipment, or a server room with no servers. Just empty. Completely empty. Eva grabbed my arm. "No, we are not going in there." But the screen on the badge reader changed again. The words pulsed, rhythmic, slow, like a heartbeat. "Enter now." My pulse hammered in my ears. Eva stepped back. She was shaking. "Andrew, we don't have to. We can run. We can call someone. We can..." The lights in the hallway behind us shut off all at once. Pitch black. Instantly. Something moved inside that darkness. Something big. Close. The air shifted, like a presence taking a step forward. Eva whispered, "Oh my God." The message on the badge screen changed. "Enter now or be returned." I didn't know what returned meant, but I had seen enough today to know it wasn't good. I swallowed hard. "We go in." Eva's eyes widened. "No, Andrew. We don't have a choice." Behind us, the darkness crept closer. A sound echoed inside it. Not footsteps. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. Patient. I took Eva's hand. We stepped into the white room, and the steel door slammed shut behind us. Hard. Loud. Final. The lights went blinding white. For a moment, we saw nothing. Only brightness. Only silence. Then, on the opposite wall, a faint outline began to appear. A window? No, a two-way mirror. And behind that mirror, a shape. Tall, still, watching us. Eva squeezed my hand so hard it hurt. "Andrew, that thing, it was following us." I stared at the mirror. "No," I whispered. "It wasn't following us." The shape leaned closer behind the glass, its outline distorted, like static on a television. It was guiding us. A soft hum filled the room. The lights dimmed. The mirror brightened. And the shape behind it slowly lifted its hand and pointed directly at me. Part 9. The mirror that wasn't a mirror. The shape behind the glass didn't move like a person. It moved like a reflection that didn't understand what it was supposed to reflect. Its arm stayed raised, finger pointed straight at me. Ava's voice trembled. "Andrew, why is it only pointing at you?" I didn't have an answer. The glass flickered. For just a split second. And I saw something I wish I never had. It wasn't a room behind the mirror. It wasn't even a space. It was a feed. Video, like the camera feeds from earlier. Except this feed wasn't showing the past or the present. It was showing me walking into this room from angles that didn't exist. From cameras that weren't real. Angles above us, below us, behind us. Perspectives that would require the walls themselves to have eyes. Ava squeezed my hand harder. "Andrew, we need to leave. We need to..." The lights shifted. Cold blue. Artificial. The room began to hum, vibrating softly, like machinery waking up. The mirror brightened again. And the shape resolved. Not fully, not clearly. Just enough to make my stomach drop. It was me. Or something wearing my outline. A silhouette with my height, my posture, my build. But not my face. The shape had no features, just a smooth surface where a face should be. But it still stared at me. Focused. Intentional. Like it didn't need eyes to see. Eva backed away from the mirror. "Andrew, that's not you." "No," I whispered. "It isn't." The shape lifted its other hand, a slow, deliberate motion, and pressed it against the glass from the other side. Except, the mirror didn't fog. No fingerprints, no smudge. The hand on the other side didn't touch the glass. It touched through it, like the barrier didn't exist. Ava gasped and stumbled behind me. "Andrew, we're getting out. Right now." We ran to the steel door. I grabbed the edge and pulled. It didn't move. Not an inch. Ava slammed her shoulder into it. Nothing. She started hitting the door. "Let us out! Let us out!" I turned back to the mirror. The shape was closer now. Much closer. Right up against the glass. Its head tilted in that same unnatural, puppet-like angle. And then, the mirror rippled. Like liquid. Like the surface of water after you drop something into it. The shape leaned forward, its featureless face pressing into the ripple, as if it were pushing through a membrane. Ava screamed. "Andrew, it's coming through!" I grabbed her hand again. We backed into the far corner of the room. The mirror rippled harder, the surface stretching like something was trying to force its way out. The room lights flickered. Once, twice, then went dead. Only the glowing mirror illuminated the space. The silhouette pushed harder. A hand began to emerge. Not a real hand. A glitching, unstable outline flickering in and out of existence. I felt my breath catch in my throat. It wasn't breaking in. It was taking shape, materializing, becoming real. And then, just when it seemed ready to pull itself through, the room speakers crackled. A voice, calm, synthetic, almost soothing, filled the space. "Andrew Miles, please remain still. Event sequence is not yet complete." The silhouette froze. The mirror solidified. The ripple stopped. The hand dissolved back into the glass. Ava stared at me, terrified. "Andrew, what does that mean?" I swallowed hard. "I think..." My voice broke. "Whatever this is, it's not done with us." The speaker crackled again. "Proceed to stage 2. The steel door behind us unlocked with a heavy metallic click, and slowly, very slowly, began to open. Part 10, Stage 2. The steel door opened only a few inches, but enough for cold air to slip through, chilling my skin. Eva shook her head violently. No, Andrew. We're not going through another door. We need to run. We need to get security. We need literally anything except that." I understood. God, I understood. But behind us, the mirror began to glow again. Soft at first, then brighter, like something was waking back up. I whispered, "Ava, we can't stay here." She looked at the door, then the mirror, then the door again. Finally, she nodded. We stepped forward, slowly, carefully, breathing like two people trying not to shatter. The door slid the rest of the way open as we approached, like it sensed us. Beyond it was a hallway, longer than it should have been. Too long for the building's actual layout. The floor wasn't carpet anymore. It was polished concrete, industrial, cold, almost wet-looking. Ava whispered, "This isn't our floor." I nodded. "It isn't any floor." We stepped into the corridor. The door behind us slammed shut. The impact echoed like a gunshot. Eva flinched. I did too. The lights above us hummed with a low frequency, a vibration I could feel in my teeth. We moved forward. Every few feet, a red camera light blinked to life, tracking our movement. Not overhead cameras, floor-level cameras, tiny ones, built into the baseboards, like they were meant to watch something crawling. Eva noticed them too. "Oh God, Andrew, why are they so low?" I didn't answer. I didn't want to think about it. At the end of the corridor was another steel door. Above it, a single digital display flickered. Fragmented text scrolled across it. Stage 2. Synchronization. Subject, A. Miles. Eva grabbed my sleeve. "Why does it only say your name? Why just you?" I didn't know. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Whatever this Stage 2 was, it was designed for me. We reached the door. No handle, just a smooth metal surface and a biometric scanner glowing faint blue. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Eva whispered, "Do not touch that." I agreed. Every part of my body agreed. But the scanner changed color. Blue to white. White to red. Then it projected a line of red text across its surface. "Place. Hand for verification. Denial will be recorded." My blood ran cold. Not access denied. Not authorization required. Denial will be recorded. I pulled my hand back, shaking. "I'm not doing that." Eva stepped between me and the scanner. "Then we leave. Right now." We turned around and froze. The corridor behind us wasn't the same corridor anymore. It had lengthened, stretched, warped. The walls bent slightly inward, curving like the inside of a throat. The floor-level cameras were now closer, dozens of them, all blinking red, all watching us. Eva whispered, "They moved." I swallowed hard. "We don't have a choice." I pressed my hand to the biometric scanner. It was ice cold, like touching frozen metal. A tone sounded, soft, approving. The door slid open. Inside was a room, dark, silent, lit by a single screen at the far end. A chair sat in front of the screen, a simple metal chair, facing away from us, facing the display. Eva's voice broke. "No, Andrew! Don't sit in that chair!" I whispered. "I'm not planning to." But then, the chair moved, slowly, scraping softly across the floor, turning, until it faced us directly. Empty. Waiting. Then the screen lit up. A single line of text filled the display. "Andrew Miles, please sit. Event continuity required." Ava grabbed my hand, terrified. "Andrew, whatever you do, don't..." A loud metallic clang cut her off. We spun around. The corridor door had slammed shut and locked. I ran to it, slamming my shoulder into the frame. Nothing. No give. No exit. The display behind us glowed brighter. New text appeared. "Stage 2 will not proceed until subject is seated." Eva whispered, "Andrew, it wants you." I whispered back, "No, it doesn't want me." I stared at the chair, at the screen, at the impossible room. "It wants something that looks like me." And then, from the far corner, I heard the soft click of a camera beginning to record. Not a digital camera, An old-style DSLR shutter. Once. Twice. Like something in the darkness was taking pictures of us as we hesitated. In part 11. The chair. The clicking sound continued, slowly, rhythmically, from the far corner of the room. A camera shutter. Old. Mechanical. Precise. Click. Pause. Click. Pause. As if something in the darkness was capturing. Moments. Ava gripped my arm so tightly I could feel her nails digging through my shirt. Andrew. Her voice shook. Someone's in here with us. I stared into the dark corner. Nothing moved. Nothing shifted. But the camera kept firing. Click. 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 Not random. Deliberate. Recording us. Recording me. The metal chair stood in the center of the room, lit by the pale glow of the screen. Empty. Still. Waiting. The text on the display pulsed softly. Please sit. Event continuity required. Eva whispered. Andrew, don't listen to it. Please. This isn't a test. This isn't a system. This is something else. I nodded. I know. She stepped in front of me. Then we find another way. We break the lock. We force the door. We do anything except... A sound cut her off. A soft, metallic groan. We both turned. The chair had moved. Just an inch. Just enough to scrape against the floor. Just enough to show it wasn't waiting. It was inviting. The screen changed again. Non-compliance detected adjusting sequence. Eva backed toward the wall. Oh my God. Oh my God, Andrew? I didn't want to get closer. I didn't want to touch that chair. Not when everything inside me screamed that it was a trap. But the room changed. Subtly. Quietly. The lights dimmed. The walls shifted. Not visibly. Not like a glitch. More like the air itself grew heavier. The camera in the corner kept firing. Click. 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 Photographing our fear. Then, on the far wall, another screen lit up. A new message. And this one made my blood turn to ice. All future versions require alignment. Seat must be occupied. Subject A. Miles. Eva whispered. Future versions? What does that mean? I didn't know. But I remembered the videos. The timestamp shifts. The duplicates. The echoes. Whatever this system was. It wasn't predicting me. It was making me. Or trying to. She looked at me, desperate. You don't have to sit there. We can fight this. We can... A door slammed inside the darkness. We both jumped. The shutter clicked again. In the pitch-black corner. Just for a second. A shape moved. Not fast. Not lunging. Slow. Methodical. A tall silhouette. Like the mirror figure. But darker. Less stable. More fragmented. Eva's voice cracked. Andrew, it's here. The screen flickered again. Then displayed a new message. Seat will be filled with or without subject cooperation. My heart pounded. I grabbed Eva's hand. Stay behind me. She trembled. What are you going to do? I swallowed hard. I'm not sitting in that chair. The shutter clicked again. The silhouette in the corner shifted closer. The text on the screen updated. Alternate acquisition initiated. And then, for the first time, the lights in the room flickered not off, but on. The corner illuminated. And standing there, half-formed, glitching in and out, unstable like corrupted footage, was me. Another version of me, or the start of one. Its movements weren't human. Like it was being rendered frame by frame in real time. Ava gasped and stumbled backward. Andrew, it's building you, I whispered. No, it's building something close enough. The silhouette stepped forward, slow, with purpose, and the shutter clicked one last time, a perfect photograph of the moment before everything broke. Part 12, Alternate Acquisition. The thing that looked like me, the thing being built in the corner, took another step forward. It didn't walk like a person. It walked like a process. Like every joint, every angle, every motion was calculated frame by frame. Ava's breath hitched. "Andrew, please tell me that's not. It's not me," I whispered. "It's not even alive." She backed away until her shoulders hit the far wall. "What does it want?" I didn't answer, because the truth was horrible. It wanted to replace me, or sync with me, or merge with something I didn't understand. The screen flashed again. "Alternate acquisition in progress. Stay within the room, do not exit." The silhouette stepped into the light, fully now, and I could finally see what made it so wrong. It wasn't one version of me. It was layers, frames, outlines, flashing between angles, like it was assembling multiple versions and failing to decide which one was correct. My face, my posture, my height, all stacked on top of each other out of sync, glitching, phasing, trying to stabilize. Ava whispered, "Andrew, it's made of your footage." And she was right. Every movement it made looked like pieces from the videos, fragments of all those recordings stitched together. It leaned its head to the side. My unnatural hallway movement. It smiled. That wrong future smile. It pointed. The gesture from the first video. Piece by piece, it was learning me, becoming me, trying to finish me. The speakers crackled. A flat synthetic voice filled the room. "Andrew Miles, seating is mandatory. Synchronization cannot proceed without your physical presence." The entity twitched. Once. Twice. Then its head snapped toward the metal chair, like it understood its purpose. Ava grabbed my arm. "Andrew, it's going to put you in the chair." I stepped in front of her. "No, it's going to put something in the chair. Me. Or that. Or both." The entity took another step. Now, only a few feet away. Close enough that I could hear the strange static sound emanating from inside its shape, like corrupted audio files stacked on top of each other. I held my ground. "Ava, if it gets me in that chair, whatever comes out won't be me." She nodded, barely breathing. "So we fight it." A humorless laugh escaped my throat. "I don't think we can." The figure lunged, not just sudden. A jump cut in real life. One moment across the room, the next right in front of me. Its hand reached toward my chest, not to grab, to press, to flatten me into place, to merge. The synthetic voice spoke again, calmer this time. "Acquisition in progress. Please remain still." I staggered backward. Ava grabbed a metal equipment stand and swung it with all her strength. The blow landed. The entire form distorted, shaking violently like a TV with a bad connection. Frames tore away, some dissolving, some flickering out. But it didn't fall. It reassembled, pulling the pieces of me back into itself. Ava screamed. It's reforming!" The thing shuddered, stabilized, then turned its attention to her. Her. Ava. The person who wasn't part of the sequence. The speakers crackled loudly. "Non-relevant entity detected. Clear the subject." The entity raised an arm, and for the first time, its intention was unmistakable. It wasn't going to capture her. It was going to eliminate her. "Ava, move!" I tackled her just as the entity swung downward, its hand slicing the air with a sound like tearing digital code. We hit the floor hard. I scrambled up. The entity recalibrated, head twitching, posture jerking like it was buffering. Then it turned toward me again, persistent, focused. The room lights flickered violently. The screen behind the chair glowed bright white. A new message appeared. "Seat will be occupied. Synchronization required event must complete." Ava gasped. "Andrew, it's not going to stop." I finally understood. This wasn't about replacing me. It wasn't about copying me. It was about finishing something. A sequence, a chain, a future that was already recorded. I whispered, It won't stop until I'm in that chair. The entity's head snapped toward the chair, then back at me. Then it took a step. A glitching, teleporting step, closing the distance. Eva grabbed my hand. We run, but the screen changed again, and the message stopped my heart. Exit routes locked. Event timing stable. Chair must receive subject. And then, beneath it, a countdown began. Doburon. 10 to 9 to Guron. 10 seconds. 10 seconds until something irreversible. Kya continued part 13. The countdown. 10. The numbers glowed bright on the screen. Cold. Precise. Unstoppable. The entity, the broken, glitching version of me, twitched violently, then locked onto me again. Gordo 9. Eva pulled my arm. Andrew, move! We ran. Not toward the chair, anywhere but the chair. But before we made it 2 steps, the lights cut out. Complete darkness, except for the numbers. Wait. The glowing countdown illuminated the room in harsh white pulses. I heard the entity move, a sound like tearing paper, mixed with static, mixed with breath. Too close. 7. Eva grabbed my hand in the dark. Which way? Andrew, which way? I didn't know. I couldn't see the walls, the door, the mirror. The countdown was the only light, the only orientation. And it kept ticking. 0 Dodo Noix. Something brushed my shoulder. Not a graze, a grip, cold, artificial, like fingers made of electricity. Eva screamed. Andrew, it's right there. I tore free, stumbling blindly. Wautuunko Do 5. The room warped in the dark. My sense of direction collapsing. The lights flickered on just for a heartbeat. And in that single frame, I saw the entity looming behind us, arms outstretched, face glitching between versions of me. Then darkness again. Jororo 4. The screen flashed a message. Subject out of position. Adjusting? Adjusting? Adjusting what? A metallic groan echoed. The chair moved, not toward us, but sideways, toward the entity. Like the room itself was repositioning pieces for the correct outcome. Eva clutched my arm. Andrew, the room is changing. I know. Zoronogro. The entity lunged. I heard the air tear, a sound that shouldn't exist, as its form split into multiple overlapping frames, all reaching for me at once. I shoved Eva aside, trying to get her out of its path. Go! She stumbled, fell, screamed. Andrew! 1. I felt the entity's hand close around my wrist. Not crushing, not violent, just holding, claiming. The final second stretched, longer than any second should. And in that frozen moment, the speakers crackled one last time. A calm, synthetic voice said, "Synchronization achieved." The world snapped white. Not light, not heat, just white. Soundless, weightless, timeless, like falling into the blank space between frames of a video. Like the room no longer existed. Like I no longer existed. And then, darkness, silence. A single moment of absolute nothing, until a breath. My breath. I opened my eyes and realized I was sitting in the chair, legs strapped, arms pinned, head fixed in place. Eva was gone. The entity was gone. The room was gone. Only the screen remained, and on it, a live camera feed of me, staring back, perfectly still, perfectly synced. Not blinking, not breathing, not moving. A second me locked in the chair, staring with that same unnatural stillness. And then, the feed whispered, in my exact voice, "The event isn't over yet." Part 14. The chair's recording. When I came back to myself, when the white nothing finally dissolved, I realized something horrifying. I wasn't just in the chair, I was part of it. My wrists weren't strapped with leather. They were secured by something else, something smooth, cold, like hardened plastic. molded perfectly around my bones. I tried to pull away. I couldn't move, not even an inch. The only thing I could do was breathe, and even that felt monitored. The room around me was nothing like the lab-white space from before. It was darker, smaller, built of metal panels with seams that didn't match any industrial design I'd ever seen. The only light came from the screen in front of me. Massive screen, showing a live camera feed of me, of the version of me sitting in this chair. Still, rigid, breathing exactly in sync with my own breaths. Ava was nowhere in sight. I whispered, "Where? Where am I?" The figure on the screen whispered back, "Where you need to be." My heart stopped, because it was my voice, but the mouth on the screen didn't move in sync with my words. It moved a moment earlier, just before I spoke, like it wasn't repeating me, like it was predicting me. My throat tightened. "What do you want?" The other me answered instantly. "To finish what began." "What began?" I whispered. The screen flickered. The camera zoomed slowly, deliberately, until my face filled the entire frame. The version of me on the feed didn't blink, didn't shift, didn't twitch. It just stared. Then the speakers crackled. A soft system tone played, and text appeared across the bottom of the screen. "Recording in progress. Event series. A. Miles. Segment. Synchronization." My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The feed shifted, cutting to a new angle. It was the hallway outside conference room 7A, from earlier, except this time, I was in the hallway. Right now. "Lev," I whispered, "that can't be real." But the figure on the screen whispered back, "It will be real." The feed jumped again. Another hallway, then another, then a staircase, then the break room. Scene after scene. Of me. Me walking into rooms I hadn't entered yet. Me talking to people I hadn't seen today. Me touching doors I was nowhere near. Each clip played as if it were happening now. Each movement matching mine just slightly early. Not mirroring. Leading. Guiding. Directing. Then the feed switched again. To a room I didn't recognize. Cold blue walls. Rows of metal tables. Overhead lights flickering like broken memories. At the center of the room was a body strapped down unit. A chair like mine. And sitting in it was another version of me. This one wasn't breathing, wasn't blinking, wasn't alive. Just a still frame that looked too real to be a photograph. I whispered, "What is this?" The screen flashed. A new line of text appeared. Archive 001, A. Miles. Initial. Archive 002, A. Miles, failed. Archive 003, A. Miles, rejected. Archive 004, A. Miles, unstable. Archive 005, A. Miles, pending. Archive 006, A. Miles, sensing. Archive 007, A. Miles, you. Eva's scream echoed somewhere outside the room, distant, muffled, like she was calling from another floor, another wing, another version of the building. "Andrew! Andrew! Don't let it!" Her voice cut off mid-scream. Silence swallowed everything, except the screen. The screen now showed a final message. A message that made my entire body go cold. Stage 3. Approaching, do not break alignment. The others are on their way, I whispered. The others? And the feed changed one last time. The image was dark, grainy. A hallway I didn't recognize. Then, from the shadows, shapes began to emerge. Tall, slender, incorrect. Human outlines, but wrong in all the small ways that make a person a person. And as more of them came into view, I noticed something. Every single one had my height, my build, my posture. Every single one was wearing my clothes from different days, different years, different versions of my life. And every single one had no face, just a smooth surface where a face should be. Then, in perfect unison. They all turned their heads toward the camera, toward me, toward the chair. The feed zoomed in on the nearest shape. Closer, closer, until the surface where its face should be began to distort. A ripple, a formation, like something underneath was trying to push through, trying to decide who it needed to become. My breath caught, because I finally understood. These weren't copies. They weren't echoes. They were versions, attempts, iterations. And I was just the next one in line. The screen faded to black, pitch black. Then the speakers whispered, in 100 layered versions of my own voice. Stage 3 has begun. Format part 15. Stage 3. Everything went black. Not like the lights turning off. Not like a power outage. Black like the world had been erased. No sound. No breath. No up or down. Just empty space. Then, a soft tone. A chime. Familiar. Corporate. The kind of gentle sound your computer makes after installing an update. A voice followed. Smooth. Synthetic. Too calm for what was happening. Stage 3 activated. Preparing environment. The darkness began to shift. Not lift. Shift. Like someone was dragging walls into place around me. Shapes formed first, then outlines, then textures. Until suddenly, I wasn't in the chair anymore. I was standing. In an office I knew, but not one that existed. It looked like Halverton Dynamics, if someone rebuilt it from memory using software that had only seen it once. The walls were too symmetrical. The lights were too evenly spaced. The air smelled like nothing at all. No hum, no vents, no warmth. A perfect corporate environment, with every imperfection scrubbed away. I whispered, "This isn't real." But the carpet beneath my feet felt real. The desk in front of me looked real. The keyboard, the mouse, the monitor. Except the monitor was already on, and it was waiting. A single line of text glowed. "Welcome, Andrew. Please begin your work." I stepped back. No, I'm not doing anything." Behind me, a printer I hadn't noticed came to life. It whirred, clicked, pulled in a blank sheet. A page slid out. Just one line printed in the center. Non-compliance detected. Another page. You will be assisted. Another. Please remain productive. I backed away, heart racing. "Ava," I whispered. "Eva, are you here?" No answer. Not even an echo. Just silence. Corporate, sterile silence. Then the lights overhead flickered. Once, twice, and in the reflection of a glass partition, I saw movement. Shapes. Tall, human-shaped, headed down the hallway toward me. I spun around. There was nothing there. But in the glass, they moved closer. No faces. No eyes. Just silhouettes in business attire, nearly identical to mine. I took a step back. The glass reflection took a step forward. My voice cracked. No! The overhead speakers chimed. "Assistance has arrived!" Footsteps echoed down the hallway. Slow, even, in perfect synchronization. The glass reflections grew clearer, dozens of them, all moving toward me. Some turned their heads, but only in the reflection, not in the real hallway. Like the reflection was the real world, and I wasn't. I staggered to the far wall. "Stop! Leave me alone!" The lights flickered again. The reflections froze. Every single silhouette turned its head toward me at the exact same angle. Then, in 100 overlapping voices that were all my own, "Productivity is mandatory, Andrew." The silhouette stepped through the glass, not breaking it, not opening it, stepping through it, like the glass was just another screen. They surrounded me, closing in, slow, quiet, corporate. I pressed into the corner, shaking. "What do you want from me?" The nearest silhouette stood inches in front of me. Its blank face began to ripple, like something underneath was trying to form, trying to decide which version of me to become. Then the speakers whispered. Soft, calm, inevitable. Stage 3 complete. Synchronization successful. The blank face finished forming. It wasn't blank anymore. It was me. Perfectly. Me. And it leaned in and whispered, "Now, you belong to the system." Part 16. Breaking the loop. The thing wearing my face stood inches from me. Too close. Close enough that I could feel a faint, unnatural warmth coming off its skin. Not human warmth. The warmth of a machine that's been running too long. It whispered again. "You belong to the system." My back hit the corner of the wall. There was nowhere left to go. More silhouettes stepped inward, a silent circle closing around me. All of them. Versions of me. Some perfect. Some glitching. Some incomplete, missing fingers, missing parts of faces, missing shadows, failed attempts, misaligned copies. The system hadn't been predicting me. It had been trying to replicate me, over and over and over. And now, it wanted to finish the sequence. The speakers buzzed. Begin assimilation. The me in front of me raised its hand, and every silhouette around me raised their hands too. Perfect synchronization, as if a single thought controlled all of them. I shook my head, trembling. "No, you're not me. You're not any of me." The realness in my voice made the closest silhouette twitch, a tiny distortion in the smooth, manufactured calm. My voice cracked. "You are wrong." Something rippled across the copies. A flicker. A delay. Like the system didn't know how to process resistance. The overhead lights dimmed. The speakers crackled. "Input error. Subject deviating. Corrective action required." The silhouettes tightened the circle. The nearest version of me pressed its palm toward my chest. A merging. A claiming. A replacement. No escape. No door. No Eva. Just me against something that lived in the gaps between moments. For a second, a single heartbeat. I believed it would win. And then, a sound broke the silence. A faint electrical pop. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then, from behind the silhouettes, somewhere deep in the faceless office maze, a voice. Weak. Desperate. But unmistakable. "Andrew!" Ava. She was alive. Her voice carried through the hallway like a lifeline. Something inside me surged. A spark of myself that the system couldn't predict, couldn't model, couldn't replicate. The thing touching my chest paused. Just paused. And that pause was everything. I moved. Instinct. Panic. Survival. I ducked under the silhouette's arm and shoved it backward. Its frame distorted, stretched, like bad video buffering. Other silhouettes reacted, turning sharply, unnaturally. But I was already moving. Running. Breath ragged. Heart exploding. Eva's voice echoed again. "Andrew, this way!" I sprinted toward the sound. The silhouettes followed. Too fast. Too silent. Too synchronized. But not fast enough to catch someone unpredictable. Someone human. The office walls warped as I ran, stretching and shrinking, as if the building was trying to reroute me back to the chair. But Eva's voice kept cutting through the distortion. "Turn left! No, straight! Andrew, hurry!" I didn't know if she was close or far, or even real. But she was all I had. I burst through a doorway, a familiar one. The server room. The real server room, or at least something close to it. Eva stood on the far side, pale, shaking, but alive. She grabbed my hand the moment I reached her. "Andrew, we have to shut it down. The system. Whatever part is controlling this, we kill it." I nodded. But behind us, the lights exploded with white static, and dozens of silhouettes flooded into the server room doorway. All of them me. All of them silent. all of them glitching in unison. Ava whispered, "Oh God, we're too late." I shook my head. No. My voice was steady now. They don't know what I'll do next. The system could predict me, replicate me, simulate me, but it couldn't handle chaos. It couldn't handle choice. I grabbed the main power conduit running across the wall. Eva's eyes widened. "Andrew, if you pull that, we could crash everything. The servers, the building, the backup systems." Exactly. The silhouette surged forward. Eva grabbed my arm. "Do it." I wrapped my fingers around the conduit. The silhouette screamed. Not human screams, but digital distortion. 1,000 corrupted versions of my own voice overlapping. I ripped the conduit out of the wall. Sparks exploded. The entire room went white, and everything disappeared. Send on Part 17. System reboot. When the world came back, it didn't come back all at once. It came back in pieces. A sound first. A low hum. Familiar. Mechanical. Almost comforting. Then light. A flicker. Then another. Like someone was turning reality on one switch at a time. My eyes opened slowly. I was lying on the floor. Cold tile. Real tile. Not the glitching, impossible surfaces from the artificial office. I pushed myself up, dizzy, disoriented. My hands, human, normal. No restraints, no chair. I whispered, "Eva." For a second I thought she was gone. Then, a hand touched my shoulder. Warm, shaking, human. "Andrew, I'm here." I turned. She looked exhausted, pale, hair a mess, clothes torn from running. But she was real, alive. We both looked around. We were in the actual server room, the real one. Rows of machines, fans humming, lights blinking in their normal patterns. But some racks were still rebooting, flashing back to life after the hard crash. A few safety alarms pulsed softly, non-threatening. I stood, wincing. "What happened?" Eva shook her head. "I don't know. But whatever you did, you broke the connection." The connection? The system? The thing that was trying to replace me. I looked at the main power conduit. It was scorched, half melted. We shouldn't have survived that. But we had. We were here, alive. I checked the monitors. All feeds were offline, booting, restoring. I whispered, "The videos?" Eva looked too. No hidden folder. No future timestamps. No corrupted entries. Just a normal system. A normal morning. Like none of it ever happened. "Andrew," Eva said softly, "we should leave. Right now. Before the system restarts completely." She was right. Because if the system came back online the way it was before, it might try again. We went for the door. Eva swiped her badge. Green light. Unlocked. Perfectly normal. We stepped into the hallway. Fluorescent lights. Neutral carpet. People walking around. Talking. Carrying coffee. Heading to meetings. Completely ordinary. Completely oblivious. Nothing wrong. Nothing strange. Just another day at Halverton Dynamics. Eva squeezed my hand. "Andrew, we made it." I nodded. But something inside me felt off. Not wrong. Just off. Like the reboot had reset more than the systems. We reached the elevator, pressed the button, waited. The doors slid open. Empty. I stepped inside. Eva followed. The doors closed. We stood in silence as the elevator descended. And then, just before the doors opened, a soft chime sounded. A very specific chime. One I recognized immediately. The system chime. Quiet. Corporate. Synthetic. I turned slowly. The elevator display flickered. For less than a second. Just a single distorted frame. But enough. Enough to show a camera feed. A familiar hallway. Conference room 7A. Empty. And then, a figure walked into frame. My height. My build. My posture. Me. Except it wasn't me. Not exactly. The figure turned toward the camera and smiled. The elevator doors opened. Ava stepped out. "Andrew, you coming?" I didn't move. Couldn't move. Because the elevator display flashed again. A new line of text. A single message. Reboot complete event resuming. Part 18. Epilogue. After the reboot. I didn't sleep that night, or the night after, or the one after that. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the elevator display. That single flashing frame. The version of me smiling back with someone else's intention behind my face. Ava tried to calm me. "We broke it," she said. "We shut it down. It can't hurt you anymore." But she didn't see the message. Reboot complete event resuming. I did. And the next day, when I came into the office to file my resignation, the atmosphere felt wrong. Not visibly, not noticeably, but wrong in the small ways. People walked the halls with a rhythm too synchronized, too smooth, like choreography no one admitted they were following. When I passed the HR desk, the receptionist smiled at me. A perfect, polished smile. The exact same smile the entity used. I froze. "Morning, Andrew," she said. "Ready for another productive day?" I shook my head quickly. "Actually, I'm here to." Before I could finish, my phone buzzed. A calendar notification. One I hadn't created. 10:24 a.m. Event continuity briefing. Location, conference room 7A. My blood ran cold. Ava wasn't in today. She'd taken time off. That meant if something went wrong, I'd be alone. Again. I turned off my phone, powered it down completely, and it powered itself back on. Instantly. A message on the lock screen. "Please proceed to your scheduled event." I left the building. Fast. Nearly running. Cold air hit my face as I stepped outside into daylight. Real daylight. Warm. Imperfect. Human. I walked across the parking lot straight toward my car. Keys in hand. Heart racing. Just leave. Just drive. Just disappear. But when I pressed the unlock button on my fob, all 4 doors unlocked. At once, a soft chime sounded. A chime I knew. Not my car alarm. Not the manufacturer sound. The system sound. The same one that welcomed me into stage 3. My phone buzzed again, even though I'd powered it off. A new message. "You are out of position adjusting sequence." I staggered back. No, please, leave me alone." The screen flickered to life on its own. A video file appeared. One I hadn't taken. One I hadn't recorded. Entry log Andrew Miles final.mp44. The timestamp was today. Right now. This very moment. My hands shook as the video opened. It was grainy. Dark. A hallway shot. At first, I thought it wasn't my building. Then I realized. It wasn't a building at all. It was outside, in daylight, in a parking lot. This parking lot. And in the center of the frame was a man standing beside a parked car. My car. My jacket. My profile. My stance. Me. The video panned slightly. Smoothly. Like someone was following me with a stabilizer. Watching me. Recording me. From behind. I spun around. There was no one. Just cars. Wind. Normal day. Normal world. But the video continued to play. The camera crept closer behind the recorded version of me. Closer. Closer. Until it stopped, less than a foot from the back of my head. The version of me in the video turned slowly. Toward the camera. Toward me. Toward whoever was filming. And he smiled. Not wrong, not glitching, not corrupted. A perfect human smile. My smile. And then, in my exact voice, the video version whispered, "We're not finished." The video ended. My phone screen went black, then lit up with one last line of text. Just one. Stage 4, begin a cold breeze swept across the lot. Behind me, a door to the building hissed open. Soft footsteps. Several sets, in perfect synchronization. I didn't turn. I didn't breathe. I already knew what I would see. Versions, iterations, silhouettes, me. All of them, coming quietly, patiently, without anger, without hurry. The system didn't chase, it collected, and it had rebooted. I closed my eyes. The footsteps approached, closing in, slow, rhythmic, corporate. And then, a whisper right behind my ear. "Welcome back, Andrew." Blackout.